Volothan modulus tautology, and I'm back, right? Looking at my Volo television statistics, I'm at 68 subscribers. I lost a subscriber. And 343 videos. So I'm going to try to do 2 or 3 today. They saying I got to make a lot of videos in order to really be seen. So that's one thing that I'm going to work on there. Facebook, I'm doing all right. Let me see my Facebook stats a little bit. Philadelphia Jones, what is that? I don't know. Facebook stats. I'm at 745 followers, so I'm up. I'm up a little bit on my followership. I'm at 431 following. I mean, that's more than enough people to follow, you know. And y'all unfollow people all the time, especially if if their heart is full of hate. Like, why should I follow somebody that just want to hate on everybody? You know, that's corny. Some of you know I'm not gonna leave you because I know your frustration. You know, hint hint, Mr. C. Yeah, my cousin going through it. Yeah, he's definitely going through it, and I don't blame him. You know, because you're trying to teach the unteachable. Like, it's a waste of my time, and that's kind of like trying to teach AI. Like, you can't teach artificial intelligence, but that's actually what we're doing. But before I go there, let me start off, because this is my new thing. I want to start off with teaching, and y'all know what I teach over here. This is called hip hop. So let's get this done and over with. And I hate to say it like that, because you know me, I've really developed into a spiritual being. I mean, 4 years of Joe Biden can do that to you. You know, let me just put it that way, right? So here we go. This is Fair Use 1976 copyright laws. We got to finish off what we started, okay? So here we go. Intensity of divinity assemble me. All right, did y'all peep that, right? And we'll get into the game. As you can see, I'm playing a little bit of Breath of the Wild. So, but y'all know how I do. If the boy was here, that give me a chance to really give a lesson on the lyrics of one of the songs that I consider hip hop while he plays the game, and then we'll start talking about gaming or whatever topic he wants to talk about, like or else what else I want to convey from. I like to start spiritually, so love God, respect Lord will be the next phase, and what was the lesson that we learned, and then seek more wisdom. All right, now use that lesson to go find more lessons. That's how it works. Yesterday was the Sabbath day for a lot of people, and fatherhood, mother is still important. Right, so we get more into that, right? So how did he start off again? Let's see here again. Intensity of divinity assemble. All right, he said intensity of divinity assembled me. So he wasn't together before at a point in time. He was seeking wisdom in order to become common. This is common. These are his lyrics. We're sure, right? He's not a ghostwriter, right? Or he might be a ghostwriter, but he's not a ghost reader. That would be the opposite, right? I guess. Intensity of divinity assembled me. The energy of the Trinity remember me. You hear that one, right? The energy of the Trinity remembered me, right? Wow. Now, what's the Trinity? Joseph, Mary, and Jesus, right? Well, for Christianity, it would be, right? Muhammad and his parents would be for Muslims, right? So, okay, there we go. It's not Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? The mother's included. She's the gateway. She's the earth, right? So, and you only get one mother. That's why we say fatherhood, mother. That one mother is very important to your life, right? So, we'll get more into that a little bit later on too. Hope the gates of heaven I hope the gates of heaven ain't too finicky. Wow, that's letting you know. Uh, you know what I mean? You're supposed to follow those 10 commandments and be on that right path, right?
May I enter thee,
May I enter thee, smelling like Hennessy.
smelling like Hennessy.
Wow. He's talking about drinking that Jesus juice. Shout out to. I had to put that one in there. You know what I mean? Shout out to Black Squad, right? Kenyatta Black, right? All right, here we go.
The imagery from which I'm made is unafraid.
Woo! The imagery from which I'm made is unafraid. I am unafraid. Wow, that's dope.
My people, we getting over. We underpaid.
Whoa, my people, we getting over. We're underpaid. Wow, yes, I'm definitely underpaid. All right, here we go.
Was the Alabama brawl the scream of former slave?
Was the Alabama brawl the scream of former slaves? Wow, coming from Alabama, right? Shout out to Mobile, Alabama. That's where my son's mother is from, and I've been there several times. You know, cool place, different vibe. Been down to Louisiana and New Orleans and Atlanta. I've been practically live in Atlanta, right? And I've been down to Florida too. We went to Disney World twice, Tallahassee to visit. Shout out to my cousin Pebs. Oh no, Pez was in Tallahassee, and then she moved further south. So we went a little further south, not as far south as Miami. I've been to Miami once as a layover from Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. So I have been in Miami, but it was at the airport. We just flew straight back from Philly from there. So it's just a little, I have traveled. I have traveled a little bit. I haven't just been in Philadelphia my whole life, So. And this is like, you want to go to Africa? It's like, I can, I ain't in no rush. Let's just say that, okay? There it is. Let me get back to the music. Let me get back to the, all right. Was Alabama brawl the scream of former slaves? Okay, so reference. They had a brawl Juneteenth around Juneteenth or whatever. Was that in Alabama or was that... I guess it must have been in Alabama, right? I think they had a brawl and people was throwing chairs and, you know what I mean? All right, cool. All right, that's cute lyric, All right, here we go.
Or freedom's ring for which we was born and raised.
Whoa. Or freedom's ring from which we were born and raised. Yeah, it's time to start fighting for freedom, right? In fact, that's what I want to call it. I want to call it the Freedom Party. And I want Eric Adams to be the mayor of New York as the Freedom Party. Forget the Democrats, okay? But that's me personally, okay? Don't get too caught up in that, okay? Especially all you Trump haters, the shorter days. It's shorter days.
It's shorter days. Wars and rumors. The makers, the owners is now more consumers. Turn the channel.
Whoa, now let's slow down a little bit there. Wars and rumors. The makers, the owners, there's now more consumers. Yeah, we a bunch of consumers. That's, it's, I get it, boycott Target, but Walmart right next door, so, and both of them don't do DEI, and DEI wasn't for black people, like employees, because they fired a whole lot of us under DEI policies, and then now they're firing us, after the DEI policy. That doesn't mean it was, because of DEI, but it was because of DEI. Like DEI was to help benefit immigrants and the LGBTQIA plus .pdf files. We get back to them a little later on too. Okay, so let's keep flowing. Side note, turn the channel live. Okay.
Turn the channel live, hope the Lord come through us.
Woo! Dope right there, right? Turn the channel live, hope the Lord comes through it. Shout out to Channel Live. Now that's a shout out to a old, original, a dope hip hop crew that was down with Boogie Down Production and Karis One. And they made one of the first political rap songs that attacked Jesse Jackson. I'll just keep it 100. It was called Free Mamiya. Classic song. Well, what happened was hip hop helped. My light went down. Okay, hip hop helped Jesse Jackson, and especially in was it '88 when he ran for president and he lost. A lot of rappers donated to him and raised 400,000 or something like that. So the legend says, and he lost real bad. He didn't do better than his previous run, which was in 1984. 88, I was still too young to, or I might have just turned 18. So I didn't vote, but I registered independent. So I know I didn't vote that year for, but I might have. I can't remember, right? I might have voted for Jesse. Come to think about it, I don't remember. I'm trying to remember now, because 88. No. I would have been 17. No, I still would have been 17, so I wasn't able to vote. Okay, cool. My bad, Jesse. You know what I mean? And stop bringing Jesse out now. Jesse need to be chilling and enjoying the, the remainder of his life. There it is. It's about the unseen.
It's about the unseen, not really how they view us in lieu of. There's colors and hues of true love that can't.
Ooh, threw a lot at you right there, right? It's about the unseen, not really how they view us, in lieu of there's colors and hues of. Ew. I mean, Common is nasty with it. That's so much love right there. Then come back with true love came through blood. Ew.
True love that came through blood, new minds and new love in pursuit of.
Woo! New minds and new love in the pursuit of happiness. Y'all know me about that compassion, peace, and happiness, right? Let's repeat that one right there.
New minds and new love in pursuit of happiness. They ask if there's a most high seeking you.
Whoa! They ask if there's a most high. That's a silly question, right? A lot of y'all are without God. Y'all need to repent on that. That's weird to me, yo. Like, seriously. Seek you and find.
Seeking, you'll find them close by.
Oh, come back one time. Seek. That's what I started off with, right? And you'll find him choose close by. Seek and you'll find him close by. Wow. That's so dope right there. Say that one more time for him, Common.
Seek and you'll find them close by.
There is a God, true living God. There is a God in the spirit of you. Shout out to Jennifer Hudson. There it is. That's when I need to clap. Let me clap. There it is. That's how you open up a show. That's how you open up a show there. There it is. Woo, that's hip hop. That's hip hop right there. All that other, you know what I'm saying? We gotta be, Trump don't, we scared of Trump. No. That's not how we do it. Nah. Y'all mention Trump. I look at Trump right dead in his eyes and say, I'm not afraid today. I give myself permission to be all that I can be. New fields of divine activity now open for me. Unexpected doors fly open. Unexpected channels are now free. My mind is focused and directed towards my victory. I now create what I need using divine energy. It's good things that come to me easily, in peace, and at the right time. There it is. So all you fear mongerers, get off my page. I don't care if you want to friend me or whatever. All right, see, so there you go right there, right? Wow. I can see him. I see you. I see you. Is this a moving one? I should wait till the light come out. And I might get messed up, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let me eat some food or something. So, like I was saying, I usually don't. I just had a game for background, and no, I don't want to use that weapon when I fight him. I want to, let me see. Y'all know what I want to use. That right there. That Master Sword. Yeah, the Master Sword, you got to pull it from a stone. So this is a complete bite off of Sir Lancelot and all the, but it's Japanese made, and that's just showing the respect. There's actually respect between East and West over there in Asia, Europe, right? So I don't understand why it's there's so much beef in America. Like, like why am I hating over here? Why are we hating over here? And I mean, clearly they got love over there, right? But and then Trump's claimed that he did what he did by attacking Iran just to say, yo, stop that fighting. Sometimes you got to do that, right? That's the kids are fighting, right? You got to give them time out. Right? They don't want to fight you. You the parent, right? So, and I had a sighting yesterday. I saw Jordan. Came by, touched Jordan. Jordan gave me all the rap too. Jordan, how little girls do. They'll give it to you. They'll tell you the truth. Right? It's like they be like, no. Them little girls, they'll tell you the truth. Jordan was telling the truth. Shout out to Jordan and Abby. Welcome back. They was up in New York, and I'm chilling. And what else did I wanted to do? I can't remember how much time did I put in. I might already put in too much time already, and that's the show. There it is. And hit the like button, subscribe, share. Yeah, 16 minutes. Yeah, that's the show. There it is. I ain't even really get a chance to get into politics, but I am going to share 2 quick clips. I wanted to share the guy. What's his name? The Dreamcast guy. Like, I want to share a little bit of him because he's all, they're raising the price of the Switch 1. And it's like, yeah, they've been saying that they want to raise the price of the Switch 1 to $400. It's $350 now and up to $400. I'm playing this. This is on my Wii U. And when I went to go buy my Wii U, I paid $300 for it. Like, whatever the price was. It was like regular price. Like, they never dropped the price. When we grew up as kids, like, I didn't get my Super NES until I turned 16. My Nintendo, my NES was my first system, and I got it on a discount because they would drop the price, and it was on the cusp of the it was just a natural price drop then too, and it was on the cusp of the Genesis coming out, so Nintendo still wanted to get as much market share of the NES before that Genesis dropped, and because the Genesis dropped that very next year or the year after, and it was also in competition with the Sega Master System, so and other little systems that was out at the time. Even the TurboGrafx was 16 might have been out. So, but yeah, that's hardware, and then I talked a little about software, and I probably lost a couple of my viewers because of that. But I'm gonna lose viewers for talking about hip hop. I'm gonna lose viewers for talking about politics. So if we talk about religion, politics, and if I talk about epistemology, which is the art of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, cognitively, like you're seeking the construct of it, and people are like, he don't know what he's talking about, or they know what they're talking about, and I'm trying to explain it like it's a logical insight of it. The two ones that we're working on right now is the art of logical thinking or the laws of reasoning. I keep pushing that book. The author, then my normal, have a normal logic book that I use to analyze all my tautologies and things of that nature. And I know that's the author of that is Lucas. But and then I'm not here to do a formal remember these people names and with hip hop it's just I keep it basic with Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Kwame Ture. I've recently added Fred Hampton, because it was okay. Y'all want to talk about martyrs all the day and people dying so Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton. That's the quote unquote dark hip hop, right? So the light hip hop, right, or the left, right, the light side of hip hop would be Medgar Evers, John F. Kennedy, and Robert F. Kennedy. But notice how even the left don't want to talk about that kind of hip hop, right? That guy in New York that wants to be the mayor. He gonna throw Martin Luther King out there, but he ain't gonna mention Malcolm X because that's the game plan. It's see we're down with black people because I mentioned Martin Luther King. Like yo, dude, Martin Luther King ended. He ended it with You know what I'm saying? They gave them grass. They gave them soil. They gave them seeds. Not only that, they gave them land in order to fertilize the seed. Not only that, like that's one of his most famous speeches, right? On they gave him lumber in order to build the farm. Not only that, right? And then he ended it with, so it's time for us to go down there and get our check. And they shot him in the head the next day, right? A couple days later, right? That's the truth. But that's not the truth they're going to tell you. That man, like, that's running against Eric Adams, that's why I wish Eric Adams would be like, all right, Eric, tell him the truth, my man, right? Eric start telling the truth, right? He has to run independent. He can't be a Democrat or Republican. So he might as well run as he stayed running as an independent, call himself the Freedom Party. Like, I like Freedom Party. That's pretty cool. He's the Freedom Party, and he's all about building a republic of democracy, right? You can use the term democracy. That's a free word anyway. And, you know what I mean? He's, you know, even, what's his name? Andrew Jackson, before he made it the Democrat Party, it was called Jacksonism or something like that. Like, he used his own name as being an independent. Then he, you know, got people to come together and say, okay, we're going to call ourselves the Democrats. Right? That's how it really happened. And then they retconned all the way back to Thomas Jefferson, who was a Republican. So, a Republican of democracy. But they want to say it was a Democratic Republic. Right? Like the order is, you know, because we switched the order is different. Just like mother or father. Right? Father or mother. The order makes a lot of, right? I guess so, but you know what I mean? When the mother is trying to work with motherhood and they, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't talk to him, don't talk to her, don't talk to them. You know, and they on their normal, right? But when fatherhood come together, or when what I'm saying on Facebook, fatherhood hit me all the time. Like, yo, we want to come through, we're going to light up the grill, we're going to do this, all right, cool, we coming through, right? It ain't no challenge, right? But sometimes, yeah, you know, they might hint like, yo, don't bring P. Diddy. Like, I don't blame her. Why would I trust P. Diddy now, right? You know what I'm saying? It's all about trust. You can't hang with us, P. Diddy. We can't trust you. Right? You've been violated. There it is. So yeah, let me do this real quick and I'm gonna share a video. Fair use 19. Because this right here is gonna be Trump at and this is from the New York Post. So I'm gonna share a little video from the New York Post of Trump basically getting props from an African woman, right? From the Congo. All right, so we're gonna share a little bit of that. Hey, the New York Post shared it, so it must be true, right? So let's share it and see what it said, what happens. All right, give me 1 second, and hip hop is what it is, right? It's dope.
I spoke with the people on the street. I spoke with youth. They know your name. They know that our president named President Trump is working hard to finally bring peace to the country. I saw hope. They have hope now for a better day in Congo. They see what you're doing as a future, better future for Congo. And I had opportunity to sit down with President Felix Tshisekedi for an interview because I want to understand his mind, what he's thinking, his feeling about everything that your administration is doing. And he told me firsthand that for many years, many American presidents overlooked this conflict. They didn't do nothing. Even myself, I covered President Biden's administration. I pressed many times about this conflict. People are dying in Congo. This country has so much potential, but they need help because this war is destroying the country. Right. They never gave me any answer. And he told me, President Tshisekedi, that you have no idea, he's very thankful for what you're doing, for what your administration is doing. Not only him, the entire Congolese people, they see that finally they will have hope. And President Tshisekedi also mentioned at the end of my interview that when peace finally comes to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, he's thinking to nominate you as a Nobel Prize Peace because he said you deserve, you have been working to bring peace in the world, not only at the Congo, and he's very hopeful to meet you in the future.
That's so nice, boy, and that's so beautifully stated. And Caroline said, number one, she did say, and I shouldn't say this because it's politically incorrect, she said, she's beautiful, and you are beautiful. I'm not allowed to say that, that could be the end of my political career, but I'll say it anyway. But you are beautiful, and you're beautiful inside. So I wish I had more reporters like you. You covered Africa for a long time?
Yes, for over 10 years.
Wow.
I covered even your first administration.
Yes, I know that. That's great. Well, thank you.
And there it is, right? They're cute, right? Cute little video. And, you know what I mean? Trump doing his job, and right? But it's, since we're over here saying we're B first, black first, meaning day zero, we've been here since day zero. We're foundational black Americans. That means that we were here from day zero. That most of these native, when 1492, when Columbus came over, he found a bunch of reddish brown, dark brown skinned people, right? It wasn't just light skinned people, right? It was brown skinned people. And what happened is they started to build their little colonies, and they would use African labor that they brought over, and it was a revolt, and they wanted to be free because they was dragged over here. And the very first one we have it recorded happened in 1526. Now, when I start explaining this story, right, without getting into too much detail, that's when the left, the liberals, there's only way to say it is the Democrat, that it's not a part of their narrative, because they want us as black people to be what? More, less than the 14th, 15th, 16th Amendments, right? They want to be able to send us to, like, now y'all can't send us anywhere. We here. So we over here, we still building, right? And they're the ones they're the Dixiecrats that say, get out of town, right? So that's what they're saying about Eric Adams, right? Eric Adams, they wasn't going to support him anymore, and he was going to be. That's why he didn't do a part of their primaries, because they was going to ambush him, right? With Cuomo and everybody. So now we're waiting for November, the general election. So he's going to, I'm hoping that he stays independent. I'm hoping that he gives it a title like, Freedom Party or Liberation Party, like whatever he can do. He can say whatever he wants to call it. And if Cuomo decides to be the Republican Party, that kind of shows, how they, Dixiecrats like to flip flop and jump on both sides. So then you got a three on three, right? Party or 3-on-3, and we vote come November. So that's how it actually works. So we just waiting for the debates in September or whatever, right? That's all we can do. So, and that's just in New York, and now we got it all across the other, But I've been registered to vote since 1987, 88, all right, 88, 89, since 89, and there it is. There it is. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say some DeAndre. So this is because he's my go-to street. Let's call it street. Shout out to him. He's my street politician. So I'm gonna let him get a little say, and then put a link of his content in the description area too, and then I'm gonna wrap it up after that. Okay. So give me one more second.
All right, YouTube, this Detroit HPTV coming to you out of Detroit, back with another video. We got to talk about the latest in politics. Last week, we talked about how Donald Trump, the Supreme Court, did away with birthright citizenship. Now, today we're going to talk about Jasmine Crockett and the black liberals. The black liberals are getting their wake-up call, because although they may use them for clickbait and to come out and be the face of the Democratic Party, they don't want to let them lead with anything. Now, they have a lot of hostility and animosity for black conservatives, as if they don't realize that The Republican Party was started by abolitionists with the help of Frederick Douglass to combat slavery and to get the Emancipation Proclamation signed. And that prior to King and the Civil Rights Movement, most black people were conservative and Republican. Now, somehow they have forgot who the Dixiecrats and the Democrats are. The Democrats are the ones who fought to uphold slavery, created Jim Crow and the KKK. But they forgot that. And the more they get out and pander to the black community in behalf of the Democratic Party, the more foolish they look. You can even look at the trolls in my comments. The trolls are so emotional about what Trump is doing that they forget that they're being used and played by the Democratic Party, who undermines their communities, undermines their upward mobility in this country, and want to keep them as political footballs, like Malcolm X said, on the Democratic plantation. Now, you have to think about Jasmine Crockett. She was their rising star. She wants to come out and be the loudmouth of the party, as if we're not tired of the Medea types. We're not tired of Big Mama telling people what to do and keeping you on the plantation and telling you what you should think. So she got her wake-up call. And I want y'all to see this clip. This for fair use under the 1976 Copyright Act for education and commentary.
And there it is. I'm not going to share her actually, acting like she's somebody's mother. Like that's, and that's the point that I want to, and my apologies on the echo. I'm doing the best I can with the equipment that I have, but, and that's part of the reason why I say the fifth commandment is fatherhood, mother. Fatherhood is trying to come together and with God, and we're trying to build a brotherhood of man. Now, whether or not that's the brotherhood of, what am I saying, mankind, the brotherhood of manhood, or if it's the brotherhood of man power, right? We deciding that. Jasmine Crockett trying to act like she's somebody's mother, and you know what I mean? She is the face of I go down there and Planned Parenthood, and I make the best decision, the big tish kind of a thing. It's like, yo, that's private and personal information. Like, why are you proud of that? You know what I mean? And just that whole false pride movement that we've been dealing with every June since really since Obama, but Biden took it to a whole new level. And it's like now they wanted this year to do it, and they successfully did it because they shut down the voices of the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man. They did. They sabotaged our right to build June so that we could celebrate this coming Friday, the 4th of July, right? So now it's, we don't celebrate. Who told you we celebrated? That's a lie. Like that's that Public Enemy, that's Flavor Flav coming out his mouth, speaking bad for, Mr. Do-Right, who is the military, our fathers who served in Vietnam, served in Korea, right? We deserve a little cookout, like we tried to do for the Memorial Day, like. Black in Philadelphia, Memorial Day, we came out because we just like to come out and celebrate and enjoy life together. And they sent agents on Lemon Hill to cause that riot, to murder foundational Black Americans, because it's all a part of the Democratic movement, right? The Democrats. I don't like to say Democratic movement. It's the Democratic Party, and that's what they are. That's what they've been, perpetuating, I guess, to search for a better word. Because as soon as we start coming together as a fatherhood, they desegregate us. That's what they do. It's I'm the mother, and I say that I'm the one that told you to go here and go there. And they're like, we weren't trying to hear that from Kamala Harris. That's why we didn't vote for her. Right? We didn't want to hear that from Big Tish. That's why we don't care. All right, Big Tish, shut your mouth and, find a new job. right? Because that's what you told us that we had to do. When all we was trying to do was build. So, how much time was that? As I already went over, 35 minutes. I guess I can do it. Let me come out and do a little bit of gameplay because some people did come to see me play the game. And where's it at? Let's see. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Had to use a superpower. As y'all can see, I'm rusty. All right, I'm gonna get back to playing this. One God, our Father, all the time. Hip hop, life, love, one. As God is love, hip hop is lifetime is holy. Money is nothing more than that fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist. Because whether you measure in macro or microeconomics as the art of making the most out of life, it's still about hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip. Love is bigger than hip hop. That's God, right? There it is. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. I might do another video just to, feel the thing. But I had fun doing this. I'll rap to y'all later. Peace.